So here we are in America. No one has a clue about how important gold and silver are to possess. And as I've said many times, the Asians, right, Chinese, Indians, Russians, a lot of other people over there understand very well why you want to own gold and silver. So the Shanghai Futures Exchange, which is basically like our COMEX, where you can demand delivery, 41 metric tons of silver, 41 tons of silver have been withdrawn from the Shanghai Futures Exchange. In the past week, the exchange suffered another large withdrawal of silver from its warehouse stocks. The Shanghai Futures Exchange has had another 41 metric tons, or 1.3 million ounces, of silver withdrawn since April 10th. Silver inventories have declined to their lowest levels since the exchange started building its silver stocks in August of 2012. Let's see if we can get a little close-up on this little chart for you on how much silver they've had and where it's going. Not looking too good, is it? Looking like there might be some shortages, kind of a thing, huh? So that's one thing. Was there another one I wanted to talk about? Yes, there is. That's one thing. Okay, that's silver, by the way. Usually I'm in here talking about gold, as far as countries, what they're acquiring, what they're selling, how much they've got. You don't hear too much about silver, even though there's extraordinary demand on silver behind the scenes. That is right in front of your face from an exchange, the Shanghai Exchange. So the Chinese banks in 100,000 quote outlets selling gold to public. So this is actually from Bloomberg. Albert Cheng, the World Gold Council's managing director, says, well, he dropped two bombshells regarding Chinese gold demand. First, he reveals that nearly every Chinese bank is now selling gold over the counter directly to the public. And he also made the shocking revelation that over 100,000 gold dealers are now selling gold to the public in China. So nearly every bank, you could walk into a bank and actually get gold, and over 100,000 dealers or outlets are also selling to the public. So he says, to put this in perspective, these numbers, the number of U.S. retail locations for McDonald's, Subway, and Starbucks combined are only 50,000. So you have 100,000 outlets, and almost every bank, which I don't know how many banks are in China, but you can imagine with the population they have, there's an enormous amount of banks you could go to in China. And of course, now you've got 100,000 some kind of retail or whatever outlets that you can buy gold from. Why would you, as a government that's never really done this before, right? For the most part, all these years, you've been doing the same thing other countries have been doing, which is the old paper money. It's worth money, trust us. It's got value, trust us. Use it, don't worry about anything else. Why would you, as a country, want to walk away from that model in advance of the whole thing imploding and start getting your citizens used to being able to go into places like a bank, of all places, and then these other outlets, 100,000 of them, to where you could just go and take your Chinese dollars, your yuan, and buy some gold and silver, of course. Because keep in mind, as the prices will go up, and they're absolutely going to go up, there will be a point where gold becomes out of the reach financially for certain groups of people or whatever. It just happens, right? It's just like anything. If steaks, beef doubled in prices today, if it just doubled in price only, how many Americans would automatically no longer be able to afford meat and say, I'm not spending that on we're gonna have chicken tonight or something else? How many people would do that? An absolute enormous amount of people would do that right here in America. And that's just doubling the price of beef. So if you double the price of gold today, which is around $1,300, and that's only $2,600, I don't think there's any question that gold's going past that. So if you double gold, all of a sudden, all these people can't afford it. Tons of people can no longer afford it. What do? They want precious metals. Oh, I know. What's a lot cheaper than gold? Silver. The next best thing, as a matter of fact. And even if silver doubles at that same time, and let's just say we're at $50 silver, as a matter of fact, $60 silver when this happens. Gold's at $2,600 and silver's like at 60 bucks. Those people who could afford gold back when gold was $1,300 can very easily afford silver at 60. However, I don't think it's going to be stopping anywhere near 60. It'll keep going way, way up. It'll be, as Cliff High said, Webbot, the first peak is going to peak out at around $600 an ounce, is what he said his Webbot data shows. It may come down a little bit, it'll fluctuate, but that's going to be the peak for the first run-up. The second run-up after that, he says, could be thousands per ounce in silver. And remember the last Webbot report I read, I think it was the last one. If it wasn't, it was the one before that. I'm talking the full Webbot report that I've read, not the little updates. And it talked about gold reaching a price potentially of $50,000, and it'll be out of the reach pretty much of everybody by that time, and silver would just barely be affordable. Now, if you're one that owns the gold and silver, that's what you want to hear. You want to know that, hey, I remember buying silver for between 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 bucks. I'm all over the place. Got silver. You know, I'm cost averaged in at 25 bucks an ounce. And I've got 500 ounces or whatever you got, right? And then one day when this happens, even at the low first peak of $600 roughly, do you know how much that is? That's a lot of money you just got if you sell your silver. If you wait and sell it later, and it really is $1,000, $2,000, whatever dollars, oh my God, is that a lot of money? The problem with that is, when you see those kind of numbers anywhere, the world is in trouble. The world is in deep, deep trouble. It's not going to be a pleasant place to live in when you see those kind of numbers. Because that means everything is out of control. The government, the powers that be, have lost control of all these mechanisms that they've always had control over. And now the market or whatever is really taking over and is making up the difference from them not being in control anymore. Which means it ain't just going to be gold and silver that are expensive. You're going to have food items and all kinds of other things that are going to be crazy high. And it's going to cause the governments around the world to do drastic things, take drastic measures to deal with it. And if one of those measures is to tell people they can't have gold and silver anymore, which I don't see it heading there. Even if it did, old JSnip4 will have already done his video on YouTube long before that to say, hey, everybody who's still around listening to old JSnip, sell, 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 sell. Sell your silver, sell your gold. Right now's the time. Because you got to understand something. no matter how bad it gets, it's not going to stay that way. It never does, because all these things are cycles. And the interesting thing is that it seems like the more advanced we get as people, as a society on this planet, the quicker things can be dealt with, right? Because of technology, mostly because of technology. And since we have internet and speed of light travel as far as information goes and stuff like that, you know, you could have, you know, think about a war that used to drag on for years and years and years. You could have, you know, if World War III started, honestly, it's going to be like the old John Teeter story, where it's quick, it happens very rapidly, it's over just as rapidly as it started, and then the destruction lingers around for a while. But even if that worst case scenario were to happen, World War III, nuclear war, I mean, just the worst of all, that's not going to be gone rapidly. The event will happen rapidly, and then we will be picking up the pieces later. But no matter what happens, how any of this happens, having gold and silver is only a plus. As they say, he who has the golden rule, he who has the gold makes the rules. And if you have silver and gold, either of those, during a time of crisis, that is one thing that has always done well. Because when people are out there, let's say, again, bad situation, money's not working right, people, you know, as far as being able to get your hands on cash and deal with it, it's hard, it's tough. So people start to barter and trade things. When you have a situation like that, do you think people are going to be out there trading Xboxes, right? PlayStations, laptops? Who's going to even care about that stuff when the first thing on your mind is, how do I feed my kids tonight? How do I get some food here tonight? It's out there, but it's extremely expensive. How can I get some? You may want to go maybe there's a farmer in your town, and he's all of a sudden he's the man. Used to be crapped on, now he's the man. You could say, oh, can I give you this laptop for some food? Oh man, I've got 17 laptops in there now. Matter of fact, they're newer than yours. I really don't need another laptop. What else you got? Well, I've got a flat screen TV. I've got 20 of those. I mean, I shouldn't have even taken those. I got more than I know what to do with. What else you got? Oh, I've got some silver. Oh, you have some silver. I do. And at the price of that silver at that time, if this kind of thing is what we're talking about that happens, I don't even want to know the price of silver or gold at that time. But you may have 1 little ounce of silver that buys you a huge amount of bartering of food. And you may, again, say, man, I've got 500 ounces and I just bought a significant amount of food for 1 of these coins. And you might also realize, man, by the time all of this clears out and we start to rebuild back the way things used to be in America, whatever, right? Man, I'll probably still have some silver at this rate, because I'm getting a lot for my silver. All silver was for me, and still is to this day, even though I'm talking these crazy numbers that the webbot talks about and everything else, it was never to do this, to make this a huge amount of money, and it was just to protect any little wealth that I had, hoping that it will go up a little bit when these things happen, which will more than preserve my wealth. But I've come to the realization that it's going to do a heck of a lot more than just that. But if you don't have it, what good is it? Plain and simple. So like I said, I was at the JM Bullion website the other day looking at what silver coin I was going to buy. I usually buy the American Silver Eagles. Last time I think I bought the Indian heads, or maybe it was Walking Liberties. Actually, I think it was the Walking Liberties, and then I've got some Indian heads at one point. But I was on the website ready to buy some more just the other day, and that's when I said, man, all these short positions that these guys have out right now, they're gonna push the market down. We know this. So let's just wait a little while and see how far they can actually push it. And currently, which I don't know when, I mean, hell, we're almost at the end of the month for options expiration, and silver didn't really move at all yesterday. Gold really didn't move too much either. I mean, silver's down 7 cents right now. That's not, I don't consider that them pushing the price down. You know, when it's 40 or 50, 60 cents down, that's them playing their game. But again, I keep feeling that we're seeing the rule of diminishing returns, where they get all these huge amount of short contracts, which used to allow them to push it down $1, $2, or whatever it may have been, and now it barely moves it. You know, 40, 50 cents, that's it. So I don't know if that's true. It just seems like it, and I'm waiting around to see. Is it going to go down some more? Is it go down to $18? Is it going to go down to 17? How about 15? Matter of fact, powers that be, please push it back down to like $8 or $9, $10. Please. Oh, I'm begging you. Because then you can get double what you can get now for the same money. And on one side, you may see that and it looks painful. Oh man, they just destroyed my investment. But you have knowledge. You know where the price is going to go ultimately. And it's not going to be some far out long time from now. I don't have time to wait 10 or 20 years. No. Not going to be that long. No way. So, powers that be, please give us a little bonus. Can you give us a little bonus right now? Bring it. How about $15? You can't do 10? Give it us for 15. So that we can load the boat one final time. And I'll say what I've said before. If you see that kind of move where they push the price down significantly, and you may have some cash on the side ready to buy some silver when they do that. But I'm telling you right now, if you have a credit card available, I don't care if it had a high interest rate either, in order to acquire the silver when they smash the price, if they smash the price, I would max out. I've done this before. When I see a big dip in silver, I would jump on it, max the credit card out, pay the credit card off, got my silver, sit on standby. They push it down again, same thing, and then sit on it, wait again. So right now I'm in a position where I don't actually have to use a credit card. I've got cash to where I feel if they really push the price down pretty good, I can just go buy some cash and buy the amount that I'd be happy with anyways without having to use a credit card. But for those that don't, again, if you know and you truly believe the price of silver is going way, 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 way up, it won't matter that you used a credit card to make the purchase. What I'm going to say that I probably wouldn't do is if you had a credit card and maxed it out or whatever, bought some silver with it, and then decided I'm only going to make the minimum payment. So that you're just paying basically interest every month and your credit card really isn't coming down hardly at all. That bill. I'm going to advise against that, because what if it does take 2, 3, 4 years for this to really hit, and you've been making that payment for 4 years, just barely tapping or bringing the credit card payment down, or the amount owed down. That's not good. That would not be good. But those are a couple options for you. So I got to go. Take care.